And if things get tough in business, I just borrow again, and when I want to grow and scale, like sometimes I borrow then too. Like, so for me, money, like sometimes I know people have a hard time with cash flow in business. That's fine. I'll just borrow until I can get it right.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you all for joining me. I know I have not been around much. I have not done a podcast episode in nearly 2.5 weeks, which is not like me. There's been a reason for it, and I will use this podcast as an update, and I also think as a reflection for you. There's a question I'm going to ask you at the end of this podcast. Maybe I should ask you now. Do you have a model of how you bring value to the world that allows for crap to happen in your life, but you can have 99 problems, but money generation ain't one? Value creation is not one of those 99 problems. That's a question I'm going to ask you, but I know my ADD might get the best of me. I'm going to share with you what has been going on for the last 2.5 weeks, why I have not been able, or why I have chosen not to show up in the way that I typically show up for my audience. And I want to share with you guys that this is probably the 4th time in my physical therapy / entrepreneurial career that I've had to take a mini break, but this is the first time that it has gone so smooth. Okay. All right. So with that said, that's a question I'm going to ask you. Now, let me tell you what's been going on. I'll give you an update. Okay. So I think I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago that I actually purchased a home in Orlando, Florida. And for many different reasons, we don't need to get into all of it right now, but we had been moving over to Orlando and we basically are doing 2 moves at the same time, okay? So my primary home is in Indian Rocks Beach. That primary home is no longer going to be my primary home. I'm not selling the home, but that home is going to be part of my rental portfolio now. And so we had to basically change everything in that home over from being my primary house that my kids have grown up in, and that we've homeschooled our kids over the last 7 years, to now a place that families are going to come in and vacation. And so the good news is that we didn't have to bring our furniture and stuff like that over to Orlando, but we are having to get this house from a home, which was my home, to an actual rental, and it is a lot of work to do that, right? This is the first time in any of the homes that I have set up as a rental property that I'm actually doing that. And it has been quite
ahead on State Highway,
as you can see.
4.25 miles. You're still on the fastest route.
I'm driving. Okay. All right. Okay. So for those of you that are listening, I'm probably, is he really driving? No, I'm driving. There you go. All right. But I'm not looking at you. Okay. All right. So let's continue. So basically that's what I have done over the last 6 days. But why have I not been on the podcast? Why have I not been sharing much on social media, et cetera, et cetera? The reason why is because I've been extremely sick. I got some version of the flu that was not your typical 3-day or 4-day flu. This flu lasted for nearly 2 weeks. Now, I don't know if I got just this awful flu. I don't know if it was COVID. I have no idea what it was. I just know that it was absolutely brutal. But I'm proud of myself because I said to myself, I'm not going to work. I'm going to rest my body. I knew this thing was bad. I didn't know what the heck it was, but I knew it was bad. And I said, you know what? I am not going to push. And the reason why I say that to you all, so I did no Instagram stories. You guys see, I usually do that all the time. I usually do 3 Facebook Lives a week. By the way, I love what I do. I love doing it. But I usually do all these Facebook Lives. I usually do my podcast. And you guys know, and I usually do my emails and my text messages. And those things I like to do. My brand and the way that I like to do things is to do things in real time, okay? I don't want some vanilla crap like what most people put out there. Everybody knows that Greg is an open book. He shares, he tries to help, but he shares it in real time, and I think that's why people connect and resonate with me. So anyways, with that said, you guys have probably seen I haven't done any of those things, and I was just thinking about it. Now that I'm kind of coming out on the other side, I'm feeling a lot better. The move is about 80% done, 90% done. Now we're just getting Bayshore ready to go live with, rentals and stuff like that in the next, couple weeks. Getting the kids acclimated and whatnot to our new home and our new community. But I want to tell you guys something. I've had a couple times in my life, especially since I've been a physical therapist. So I've been a physical therapist since 2001, and there have been this is probably the fourth time that I can say, man, I've had some sicknesses that have really, really taken me out for a while. Now, I've also been an entrepreneur for 20 years, and I shared this with my clients recently. For me, most of the time, money is what takes most people out of entrepreneurship. That has not been the case for me. I didn't have any money going into entrepreneurship, but I live in America, and I know that I can borrow money. And I don't borrow, at least I don't think I borrow money recklessly, but I'm big into, if I need to borrow to build an asset, I'm going to do it, because I know assets follow income, or income follows assets, I should say, right? And so I don't have a problem with that. And if things get tough in business, I just borrow again, and when I want to grow and scale, sometimes I borrow then too. So for me, money, sometimes I know people have a hard time with cash flow in business. That's fine. I'll just borrow until I can get it right. And that has served me well. I'm not saying you need to do that. I'm just saying that has not been the thing that nearly take me out. What is nearly taking me out multiple times in business is my health. And I really, now looking back at it, I think that a lot of those things I could have prevented. What has happened is that I have created value in the past in a way to where if I was not physically there, I could not create value. That was the issue. So I'm thinking of the first time when I got a parasite, basically really bad sickness, when I was in Las Vegas. This is around 2001, right after 9/11. I don't know if you guys remember. I was telling some of my daughter's friends today this story, but basically after 9/11, they were giving away flights. They were giving away hotels, MGM Grand, Las Vegas trips for $1. One way, $20 or $49 coming back, blah, blah, blah. And you can get trips to MGM Grand for $30 a night, because nobody wanted, remember that? For those of you that are old like me, nobody wanted to fly, nobody wanted to do anything. Okay. Anyways, I got a parasite in Las Vegas, and when I came back home, even though I was a hot mess express, I ended up losing 35 pounds over the course of 4 months from this parasite. I couldn't stop working. And I do think that I'm still struggling with stomach issues to this day. And I think that part of those reasons is because I never actually I don't feel like I had the luxury, the privilege of being able to not work. Why? Because the way that I bring value was me physically being in front of somebody. Okay. Fast forward now to 2009 when I got sick again. And this time around, it's probably a combination of the things with my gut. And then I had all these autoimmune issues. And I got sick, and guess what? Yes, I had a practice at this point. I had 2 practices. I couldn't stop working. I didn't have the luxury of taking time off and resting, right? I guess I could have, but actually, no. I guess you could. I'd just be homeless. And I decided I wasn't going to do that, because the way that I brought value was being in front of people. So I didn't take the necessary rest that the doctors had told me that I should take. And then now let's fast forward to 2013, and it's the same thing. I had a whole bunch of problems as well, and I didn't rest and take that time. And I think all those things now start to culminate when you get to 47, 48, and I never rested in the way that I should, and never allowed my body to recover, because I brought value to people with me physically being in front of them all the way up until that time, 2012, 2013. Now, what I can say is the last 2 times that I've gotten sick, I'm talking like not your flu that's 2 days, 3. When I'm talking like stuff that hospitalizes you, what I can say is I'm proud of myself, because these last 2 times I have said, screw it, I'm shutting it down. And you know what? Each time, the care, what I like, my clients have been happy. And like this time, I didn't even think people knew. I think the only people that knew were those that are used to seeing how I show up, like live. Nobody knew, because, and I didn't lose any clients. I didn't have any clients cancel. I didn't have any of that. And I think the reason why that's the case is because I have built models that bring value to people without me having to be in front of them. I have built models based off of the value equation. And the value equation is focus on getting people results as fast as you possibly can and as easy for them so that they can actually execute on the things that they need to get the results, so they get the result. And the higher the probability of getting that result, the more people will pay you. And if you can do it in a very condensed time, amen, more power to you. And that's what I focused on. And I'm able to do that in a very condensed time. And it's funny because people say, oh, money doesn't buy health. You know what? No, it sure as hell does. Value creation and bringing value to people in a way to where they get value from you and they'll continue to pay you. And you don't always have to physically be in front of them. And you can do it in a creative way that's a win for them and a win for you. And that's one of the coolest things ever. So, as I said earlier, I was going to ask you a question. And I asked you a question at the beginning of the podcast, and I'm asking you a question now. Do you have that? Do you have that? Okay? Let me tell you, things are changing so fast, so rapid, so fierce in this world. It's in your best interest, since things are changing anyway, to just you got to change. Just change it to make sure you're setting yourself up so that if something does happen, you'll be okay. Not because any client owes you. Nobody owes you anything. They will pay you if they feel like the value that they're getting from you makes sense for them to pay you. Period. The end. That's it. So anyways, I asked you to think of that. That's it. Think of that. All right. I am going to do another podcast this week. And I'm actually going to do that podcast on some conversations I've been having with some young people. I actually just finished having a conversation with some of my daughter's friends. And then this past weekend, and that was today, and this past weekend, I had some conversations with some kids, young adults that were helping me move. So I'm going to share that with you, but I'll do that on the next podcast, all right? Anyways, much love to you guys. Till next time.